In the past, the start of the new year for me always created this desire to delete my old life. Looking back, this need to change everything idea stemmed from not accepting my true self. This year, I don't feel like setting numerical goals. Instead, I'm committing to a simple intention and new healthy habits that are based on the major lessons I've learned from the past year. If you're in a similar pattern, I want you to know that you hold incredible power within you. This is the year you can choose to break free from those expectations and the shoulds that are living rent-free in your mind, and instead spend this year chasing your true desires, exploring your curiosities, and celebrating the present moment as often as you can. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video. We're going to be preparing for 2022. It's just a smidge late on this video because Jess and I were both very sick with COVID coming into the new year. We actually rang in the new year just eating soup, chilling at home, and watching the new Matrix movie. It was fantastic. But being sick was definitely not fun. I am so excited that I finally have the time to reflect on 2021's lessons and to be able to set some new intentions and plan out how I can best show up as my idealized self in 2022. Feel free to follow along and to do your own intention setting if you haven't already. If you're a late bloomer like me, let me know in the comments. Honestly, there's nothing wrong if you're late to planning out 2022. You're still just kind of getting situated. There's no perfect timeline to do any of this. So let's get started. Okay, so now that I have some tea, I am ready to jump into it. I just needed something warm because it's so cold out today. So we're gonna start out with some reflection. We're gonna look back at 2021 and we are gonna answer two questions. The first one being, what are the biggest challenges that you faced over the last year? The second one being, what are the lessons that you've learned? We really wanna dig deep and look back at what we overcame and what lessons came out of it so that we can move forward with those lessons into 2022 so we don't make the same mistakes, or we know how to combat or overcome a challenge that's similar to one that we faced in the past. For me personally, I went through a lot of healing in 2021. It was a really big struggle, and I talked about that a little bit in my last video, the video of me coming back and explaining where I've been for 5 months. And for me personally, a lot of the challenges that I faced were mindset focused. My mental health wasn't in a very good place. I was struggling with a lot of limiting beliefs that were reoccurring or coming up from the past that I thought I've healed. They said hi, they're like, we're not done with you yet. I learned that these limiting beliefs that we think that we've healed, they have layers to them, especially the ones that are so deep to our core. They're going to have several layers to them that you need to shed and to heal and to work through. And a lot of the times it's having to go out there, take more risks, and go into these new experiences to actually have them come up to that next level, for that next layer to be shed. And that was something that I didn't really know would happen, and it's something that I really struggled with in 2021. So I'm very grateful that I had all the experiences that I did. But those are the two questions, so I'm gonna take a second and just write down my answers and then cover them with you guys. For the first question being the biggest challenges that I faced over the year, I would have to say that my limiting beliefs coming up, my old limiting beliefs coming up over and over again, was very, very challenging for me mentally. The second one being allowing myself to pivot my YouTube channel back from just sharing content creator tips back to more lifestyle, self-improvement type of content, which was the reason why I started my channel in the first place. It was really difficult for me to come to terms with the fact that I was having a really hard time creating content for the new direction that I wanted to go towards when I made the announcement on my Instagram account that I was changing my niche on YouTube. And I'm honestly reverting back now to more lifestyle, self-improvement content that really brings me a lot of joy. I truly thought that it was the right path for me to go towards more social media tips because that's my background in marketing and it's what I studied. I had some people in my ear telling me that I should go a different way, that it should be something different. I let that get to me, honestly, and I don't regret it because I was always curious if I would enjoy creating that type of content more. So I'm very thankful that I went down that path and I explored it, but I definitely know now that this is the path for me, and it feels really great to feel very secure in that decision and to have this level of clarity. So I only wrote down 3 major challenges that happened over 2021, and the third one being I was consumed by distractions often. So almost on a daily basis, I was binging TV, Netflix, which there's nothing wrong with that on occasion. But when it comes to, you know that you should be doing something else and you're getting frustrated with yourself for getting distracted. And when it becomes super triggering, that's when it can pose a problem. And I was at that point, I won't say every day, but very often in 2021, I was getting very distracted. It was hard for me to pull myself out of that. And I would finish my days feeling like I didn't do as much work as I should have. And that's not feeling guilty for not doing any work. It's a balance between pushing myself to go after my dreams and being comfortable and just allowing myself to be a couch potato. And I definitely was leaning more towards being a couch potato over 2021. A large part of that was me going through those limiting beliefs and me just kind of wanting to escape from feeling my feelings. So I was using it as a way to numb my emotions, and that just was not healthy for me. And then some of the lessons that I learned over 2021, the first one being that limiting beliefs and healing comes in layers, and that it's okay if a old limiting belief resurfaces. That was a huge one for me. The second one being, if I'm worried about what other people think constantly, I won't get very far. Let me first say that I am an people pleaser. I'm a recovering people pleaser. I really struggle with expecting people to judge me or expecting people to not understand me, to be misunderstood. And that really frightens me. It's a big fear of mine. And it's just by taking more risks for me in 2022. I plan on taking a lot more risks of being my authentic self and to show up in the way that I really desire to show up as, without worrying about the stories that people have of me, because those stories have nothing to do with who I am and where I'm going. It has to do with that person, and it's just reminding myself that over and over again, so I'm not scared to show up. The third one, you can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it. Fourth, the key to manifestation and to manifesting your dream life is to do the deep core shadow and emotional work that you need to do to unblock yourself, to allow energy to flow. It is very difficult and uncomfortable to face your blocks, your fears, and your limiting beliefs and your insecurities, but it is the most transformational experience that you can have when you do. 5, it will always feel like something is missing from your life if you're constantly putting your happiness into things outside of yourself. All you need is you. You are in charge of your happiness, and you can create your own happiness out of thin air like that. It just depends on your perspective. Without, shaming any feelings that pop up, we don't do that here. We feel all of our feelings, and we are human. We're meant to do that. It's more so giving the power away to things outside of yourself. Material possessions, other people. You don't need anything outside of yourself to be happy. So next we're going to set our word for the year, or our intention for the year. And I'm gonna put this down because it's clicking. I'm gonna make some tea while we do that, but for mine, I already know exactly what it's gonna be. I am going to seek out more joy in all things that I do, especially in creating content, because a big part of last year with pivoting and not knowing where I was going and like my direction for the channel, a big part of it was I wasn't listening to what I feel like is fun and what's really exciting to create. I wasn't listening to my intuition. I was listening to external voices and my shoulds, my ego. So this year is all about following what is fun and just finding the joy in the work that I do. So the word of the year is fun. I need to start my water. So for you, just think of a word that you feel will best represent this year for you. And for last year, mine was persistence, but that didn't work out so well. But I think this is gonna be a good one. Committing to new and old healthy habits is a ritual that has made the biggest impact on my life. Think about habits that encompass the lessons that you've learned and that help you expand mentally, physically, and spiritually. My first new healthy habit going into 2022 is to create more than I consume. Because I was binging TV shows and scrolling on Instagram and TikTok for hours almost every day in 2021, I'm committed to reducing my screen time and filling my days with creating content, exploring Dallas, and just doing things that bring me more joy. My second habit is to document more and embrace spontaneity. I want to make both of my cameras more accessible, level up with the amount of content that I'm creating for Instagram, film and take more photos in public, and to stop being so afraid of what other people may think and of making mistakes. Third, reframe my jealousy. When I find myself envying someone else, I want to reframe my thoughts to go from thinking that I'm not good enough compared to that person to being incredibly proud and excited for that person instead. The reason we feel jealous of others is because we subconsciously feel that we aren't living up to our potential in some way. It's showing us a desire that we have that is related to what that person is experiencing that we're comparing ourselves to. But the thing is, that person celebrating that milestone or whatever is going on in their life is actually proof that it's possible for us too. And that's worth celebrating. We just have to get out of our own way and show up so that we can go after our true desires. Those are the last of my new healthy habits, but I also have some that I'm continuing in the new year. First being my mindfulness habits. Meditating and journaling every morning are two habits that have helped me feel spiritually grounded. And of course, my workout routine, which helps me feel absolutely amazing, confident, and strong in my body. And that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this preparing for 2022 video, and I hope that you have the time to set your own intentions and to come up with what new healthy habits you want to bring into the new year as well. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for you. I hope that you have the best year yet. It really is going to be. I feel it in my bones. I don't know. But we also said that about 2021. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.